I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, 6th Division of the Nigerian Army sets up General Court-Martial to try 3 officers and 11 soldiers for alleged kidnappings and other offences in Rivers State. Police deploy more personnel to communities attacked by gunmen in Shiroro local government area as Niger State government says the death toll puts at 70s false. EU election observation mission advocates more transparent results collation process as it releases final reports on the 2019 general elections with 30 recommendations to INEC. And Sudan's chief prosecutor says ousted President Omar al-Bashir will be sent for trial soon on corruption charges.
On business news tonight, delegates approve capital raising for the Africa Development Bank as continental financial body concludes meetings in Equatorial Guinea.
And on sports news tonight, Ukraine emerge FIFA Under-20 World Cup champions for the first time after coming from behind to defeat South Korea 3-1 in the final.
The Army has set up a general court-martial to try 3 officers and 11 soldiers for alleged crimes ranging from murder, attempted murder, kidnapping, desertion, offences in relation to public and service properties, disobedience to standing orders and more. According to the General Officer commanding 6th Division, Major General Jamil Sarham, the offences are all punishable under the Armed Forces Act Cap 820, laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The GOC explains in a statement that discipline and professional conduct in the Army will not be compromised, insisting that justice will not only be done, but seem to be done in the matter. The statement says, quote, "The establishment of the court-martial is predicated on the fact that the armed forces of Nigeria hold their personnel in high esteem. Hence, it's resolved to ensure that a thorough investigation is conducted before any suspect can be put on trial, as it is in the instance case," end of quote. Major General Sharham explains that the trial is not only aimed at seeing that offenders are punished, but to serve as a deterrent and prevent future occurrence. And staying with security matters, the police in Niger State have deployed more men to communities attacked by gunmen in Shiroro local government area of the state on Sunday and Monday. The police commissioner, Adamu Usman, who led officers and men in the command to visit some of the communities affected, however, identifies bad terrain as a major challenge to operations in the area. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, tells us more.
This man is one of the victims of the attacks. He narrates his ordeal to the Deputy Governor Ahmed Ketso and security chiefs who are visiting the area.
On Sunday, we were in our community when they invaded and started shooting. They began to rustle our cattle. We can't account for the number of cattle that were rustled. We went hiding. After a while, we thought they had gone. So we started trying to evacuate our women and children to nearby communities. But just then, they came out again and started shooting sporadically, killing our people. And I also sustained injuries.
The police commissioner alongside this man is on his way to the area for a second time to assess the situation and to inspect the special squad deployed. The journey is not an easy one. The road is in a bad condition and their vehicles keep breaking down. Eventually they arrive and CP Adamu Usman assures the community that his men will be able to tackle the challenge and bring the perpetrators to book.
We have embarked on massive patrol. We deployed the operation Pop Ada and also the PM personnel. And we are also opportune to have assistance from the state government. They provided 30 motorcycles because the terrain is very bad. You cannot patrol with a motor vehicle. It has to be by motorbike, and we are able to get about 30, and it has been deployed to that area. So we assure the community that adequate security is provided and will continue providing.
There have been conflicting reports on the casualty figure. The State Emergency Management Agency reports that 38 persons were killed, while the locals believe 47 persons died. But CP Usman debunked those claims, saying only 12 deaths were recorded.
Actually, when it happens, we inform everybody, we inform the press, and we tell you the number of casualties. But unfortunately, a lot of figures have been doled out. But as far as we are concerned, we recorded 12 victims.
At the moment, the state government has provided 8 temporary camps in communities nearest to the ones attacked, where about 2,400 persons are taking shelter. They are all hoping to return home soon. Empress Simon, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, we have an official statement. The Niger State government has described as malicious the claims that the death toll in the banditry attacks on communities in Shiroro local government area has reached 70. In a statement, the state government said the figure is not only grossly exaggerated, it is spurious and an attempt to make the state look unsafe in the eyes of the world. It adds that the claims, which according to the state government is credited to a former senator from the state, is aimed to generate ill will between the people of the affected areas and the state government. While confirming the figure as released by the police, which put the death toll at 12, with 22 wounded, the government explains that 4 people believed to be informants of the criminals have been arrested and are assisting security agencies to trace and arrest the gunmen. The European Union Election Observation Mission released its final report on the 2019 general elections today, with at least 30 recommendations ahead of future elections in Nigeria. The EU Chief Observer, Mrs. Maria Arena, states that the increase in violence and intimidation recorded in some states during the elections to a large extent damaged the integrity of the exercise. The mission is recommending 7 priority areas, including the urgent need to strengthen the procedure of results collation and transmission by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
Barely 4 months after the 2019 general elections were conducted, the European Union Election Observer Mission is in this hall in Abuja, along with some local observers and representatives of political parties, to release its final report on the elections.
We suggest that electoral tribunals...
The report, which contains a fundamental reform in the electoral process, contains 7 priority areas for better elections in the future in Nigeria. They include the urgent need for the electoral umpire to strengthen its results collation procedures, establish a legal framework for results transparency and accessibility to the public, as well as the need for security agencies to work more transparently.
We recommend that requirements are established for full results transparency, with data made easily accessible to the public. We suggest also that security arrangements, as well as rules of engagement, updates and complaints mechanisms are all made public for more transparency.
The EU Observer Mission commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for making some progress, but condemned the violence in about 20 states, which it says damaged the integrity of the electoral process.
The 19th election became increasingly marred by violence, fatalities and intimidation of voters and INEC officials, mainly by party supporters. Extensive electoral security problems were observed by our mission in some areas, with groups of men with weapons intimidating and obstructing the process.
As should be expected, some representatives of political parties present at the event had this to say.
It's very interesting to have international organizations assisting us to deepen our democracy. So we've seen the report, it's been presented today, and we appreciate their recommendations. We as a party will go back and read the recommendations and apply as much as we can, because we actually want elections in Nigeria to be free and fair, and we want governance in Nigeria to be deepened.
You can see that the Electoral Act allows for the forms ECATs to be pasted at each polling unit. Pasting is publication, if you don't know. So I don't want Nigerians to go away with the impression that those results generated from each unit were not published. So that part of the report, if they mean that they were shrouded in secrecy, is wrong.
The EU Election Observer Mission had 40 long-term observers who visited the 36 states of the Federation during the 2019 elections. It is hoped that the recommendations by the EU mission after monitoring the last general elections will help strengthen the integrity of future elections in the country.
The Not Too Young to Run bill signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari before the 2019 general elections has recorded a few achievements, with young Nigerians taking up political leadership positions. Now that the elections are over, it appears, though, that the direction is now tilting towards another direction, and that is not too young to rule. This follows the emergence of at least 4 under 35 politicians emerging speakers of the State Houses of Assembly.
On February the 16th, 2018, the Not Too Young to Run movement took its campaign to the National Assembly, seeking support for the passage of the Not Too Young to Run bill into law.
Well, thank you so much.
Shortly after, the National Assembly passed the bill into law, which altered sections 65, 106, 131, and 177 of the Constitution, reducing the age qualification for president from 40 to 35 years, governor from 35 to 30 years, senator from 35 to 30 years, House of Representatives membership from 30 to 25 years, and the State House of Assembly membership from 30 to 25 years. On May the 31st, 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the bill into law. Over 300 young leaders who threw their hearts into the ring in the 2019 general elections got elected for seats in the National and State Houses of Assemblies. Statistics reveal that there was a remarkable increase in youth's participation in the 2019 polls compared to the 2015 general elections. The result is the emergence of relatively young political players, especially in the State Houses of Assembly. In Zamfara State, northwestern Nigeria, members of the House of Assembly unanimously elected 31-year-old Nasiru Magaya from Zumi local government area as their speaker, the youngest among House speakers in all the states. He reveals some of his plans for the state.
Whatever the government sent to us here, we make sure that is according to law. We will not to do such thing that will abide the rules and regulations of our Nigerian Constitution. So anything that we see is not related to law, we definitely will not be able to accept such thing.
In Plateau State, 33-year-old Mr. Abab Izam, representing Just East constituency, emerged Speaker of the State House of Assembly.
The issue of peace is very paramount. You know, the killing here and there, sometimes, you know, if there's no peace, there's no development. So we must have to look for a way of getting peace and, of course, boosting the revenue generation.
In the southwestern part of the country, 32-year-old lawmaker from Ibarapa East constituency, Mr. Debo Ogundoyin, was elected Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly.
The more our leaders and the elderly ones stay in power, then the new ideas and the fresh blood will be isolated from politics. But I think now they've seen that, especially with the performance of the youth now also in the House, because I believe that we're going to perform on an unprecedented level. They're going to give us more reign and more opportunities to actually join in politics in a positive way.
It appears a new era has begun in Nigerian politics, with young people emerging to play prominent roles in the country's political landscape in answer to the long campaign by the youth to be given a chance to make their own contributions to the nation's development.
In part two, after the break, more on the emergence of young people in politics. And we have the Executive Director, Yiaga Africa, and co-convener, Not Too Young to Run, Mr. Samson Itodo from our Abuja studios to discuss this. Stay with us.